Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sports Talk with Simba, Betts, and Benzinga. We've been doing this every Thursday for the past couple Thursdays. We're going to go ahead and start today's show off by talking about some of the picks we made last Thursday. Cowboy, what did we have on the board last Thursday?
Once again, another successful weekend. We started you guys out with some NBA on Thursday. We had the Atlanta Hawks first quarter. They won by 3, which I think I predicted 3-5. We took just the money line. We also took the Atlanta and Dallas under 225. I think the final score was 103-98. I don't have it written down exactly, but they demolished it. They won by 15, 20 points. We swept on NFL Thursday night. We had the race to 30/25. Neither team hit that. Final score was 17-14, which also is what I predicted. Noah Fant over 3.5 receptions. That cleared as well. We didn't catch the anytime defensive TD. That was kind of a long shot. And then UFC, we went 2-1 with our head pick, Jeff Molina. That one won as well. The kid's a star. He's going to be there forever. He's young. He was hungry. He ended up knocking the guy out. We had just the money line. And then NFL on Sunday, we took the dog of the weekend. Giants ended up winning. That was the dog of the weekend. They ended up winning. And Patriots money line / Packers minus 2.5, 7-point teasers. As we know, the Patriots destroyed the Jets. And college football looked good too. Notre Dame -7, Ohio State -21. Overall, only 2 losses on the weekend. Really big weekend for us.
Yeah, those were some great picks. Like you mentioned, the Thursday night game, that was kind of a snooze fest last week between the Browns and the Broncos. You know, not a lot of points. Hopefully tonight's Thursday night football game will be a little bit more exciting, which it should be, between the Cardinals and the Packers. I think they have a 13-1 combined record. So battle of 2 of the best teams in the NFC, at least tonight. But Cowboy, what do we want to start out with today?
Let's just jump into football, man. You already talked about it, and let's go with it. Tonight's game should be very interesting, to say the least. The Packers are hurt. Mercedes Valdez-Scantling is hurt. We have Devontae Adams is hurt. And I believe their other receiver, I could draw on a blank right now, is hurt as well. They're losing their top 3 receivers right now. COVID protocols and injuries. So the Packers are kind of in this area where they really have no one to throw the ball to. So a lot of the money is jumping onto the Cardinals right now. I'm on the other side of this. I think this is fantastic. A little known stat about Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams. He's 6-0 without Devontae Adams in his career with LaFleur as head coach. I think they carry the trend. I'm not so brave necessarily to think they're going to win the game. I'm going to personally sprinkle on that a little bit. But I do love the Packers getting the points here. I think that's a safe play. But what I love even more, and the line's already reflecting it, is I got it earlier at under 51.5, is I love the under tonight. I think that is a home run play. Most people overlook these guys' defense because they have such prolific offense. The Cardinals are the #1 scoring defense in the league, and the Packers are the #7 scoring defense in the league. And if you take away that fluke first game against New Orleans, they would be #5. And the other thing is, the Cardinals' defense at home has been very good, and their offense has been lacking. So my play tonight is I love that under 50.5. But I think you should buy a field goal there. I would take under 53.5. I locked it in at 51.5, and I'm going to probably tease that even with the Packers to get a 7-point teaser there. So take under 57.5 and 13 plus 13.5 and a 7-point teaser. I love that play tonight. I think that's a home run. I think we're getting the overreaction on the Packers missing the receivers. It's grotesque. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that makes his receivers. Devontae Adams would be great with anybody, but Valdez-Scantling he was really a nobody. And, you know, without Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's even a rotation player for most teams.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's going against conventional wisdom, because you see both of these offenses are just, you know, firepower between Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm sure most of the public is smashing the over. And yeah, so under 50.5, like you said, if we tease it, we get this 7-point teaser where you get the Packers plus 13.5, under 57.5, and that's minus 140. That seems like a good value. Throw 140 on that to win 100. I feel good about that teaser right there. And as a viewer, you know, I do want to see some points, but I don't know if we're going to see that many points.
Where I think they're going to see points is they also, another thing that happened here, and I don't know, it was at minus 170, so I'm assuming it's jumped up to 10.5. is the Packers team total first half was 9.5 this morning. I got that super early. I think they once again over adjusted because of the lack of depth at receiver. 9.5. The Packers have been averaging anywhere between 14 and 17 in the first half of all games. And while the Cardinals' scoring defense is great, they haven't had that hard of a schedule. They have played the Rams. That was a great win. They played the Titans in week 1. It's a different team now than the Titans were in week 1. So let's take that with a little grain of salt. But needless to say, that's a grotesque over adjustment by the books to take them to 9.5. So I also am on the Packers team total first half, 9.5. See, it's already moved to 10.5. That's fine too. I think they get 13. I got 2 field goals and a touchdown, or maybe 2 touchdowns. 13. I think that's fine too. There's some plus odds. The other prop that I do like tonight is I like AJ Dillon over 7.5 carries. He last week only had 2 carries. It was a weird game against the Bengals. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play. Against the football team, not the Bengals. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play. I think that balances back out, and the trend continues to AJ Dillon getting more and more carries. The weeks before, he had 11 and 14. I think 7.5 is a steal here. Cardinals give up 115 on the ground a game. They're susceptible to the run, and Aaron Rodgers knows that. There's not a smarter man in football today. He knows that. Maybe Tom Brady. He knows that. He's going to establish the run tonight. He's going to go split backs with lack of wide receiver depth. You're going to see both Dillon and Jones on the field at the same time. So take the AJ Dillon over 7.5 carries.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I know last week he had a rough game. He had a fumble in there as well. I only know that because I have him in fantasy, and he ended up with my negative 0.6 fantasy points. So I like AJ Dillon bounce back game as well. All right, Cowboy. So we've got our teaser. We've got some prop bets. Something that I want to throw out there is with all those receivers out, what about a Robert Tonyan anytime touchdown scorer?
You know, I looked at that one. It's just not valued enough. I think it's at plus 225, which is typical for any week. I think that's okay to grab. He's definitely is a red zone target for him. He's got, I think, 3 touchdowns on the year. That's not a bad play. Randall Cobb, I think, is a really good look. I also think they're going to establish the running game. I really like the running game here, and that's part of the reason why I like the under. I think you're going to see him milk the clock. I think you're going to see Rodgers try to establish those 6-7 minute drives. Final score, I think they still lose, but I could see it being 27-21, 27-24. That's kind of what I think this is. It's going to be a lot closer than you think. Arizona is by no means built on a house of cards. They just have had a marquee win on the road, but at home they haven't played that great. I mean, they gave up 33 points to the Vikings. Once again, early in the season, this team's still establishing their identity. But at home, they just haven't been the great team as they have been on the road. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than that 6.5 points is indicative of.
Yep, and of course, J.J. Watt is out for the season, so he will not be playing for the Cardinals tonight. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers tries to target that side of the line with some, run plays with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this game because it's by far a better game it's shaping up to be than the Broncos that we had last Thursday.
And then, of course, there could be the situation where the Cardinals just end up throwing all over these guys, and it's a 35-10 score. I don't foresee that happening, but if that's the case, they're validated, they're real, they're the Super Bowl favorites moving forward. I don't foresee that happening. I think the Packers are too good. The Packers have been even better on the road this year, but weirder things have happened in the NFL.
We will see. Yeah, I would not be surprised, but definitely not how I expect the game to go. We'll say that. All right, Cowboy, let's move on from NFL Thursday Night Football. What do we want to get into next?
NFL Sunday. Let's keep it in NFL. Easy teaser this weekend. Easy teaser. We can take the Bengals right now on a 7-point tease and get them at 3.5 versus the Jets. The Jets they're the worst team in football. I'm a Jets fan, and it's hard for me to say that. The Zach Wilson project's over for the year. It looks like he's going to be hung up. We're starting a new quarterback, Matt White. First career NFL start. The Bengals defense looked amazing last week against Lamar Jackson. Jets got no shot here. You can even take that 10.5 just fine. I don't why the books keep not putting the Jets at 14-point dogs, 2 touchdown dogs. I have no idea why, but take that. That should be your base on any teaser this weekend. I absolutely love that 3.5, 7-point tease right there is fantastic. And the other one I like is the Broncos at home versus the football team. Football team started off hot. They could score a little bit. They're starting to cool off. They're not what, they're showing their true colors. Their lack of quarterback play is really starting to shine. So the Broncos are in a must-win situation. That division's coming back to them. The Raiders aren't, while they're 5-2, I don't think they're that much better of a football team. So the Broncos need to get a win this weekend, and they'll find a way to get a win. They played fine against the Browns with Teddy Two Gloves being hurt. That Browns were in a must-win situation. But this week they will get the win. So let's just put that a 7-point teaser and get a +4. Crazier things that happen. What if the football team wins by field goal? We're still protected by getting a +4 and a 7-point tease.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Like same thing with the two-leg teaser for the game tonight, -140. If you bring it to 7 points, you get Broncos +4. You get Bengals -3.5. And yeah, we'll see what Matt White has out of Western Kentucky. I mean, he's been in the league a few years as a backup, I'm pretty sure. But like you said, first NFL start.
Yeah, he's he's up against it too, man. The Bengals defense is pretty. They're decent. They're a good defense this year. I think they while their offense is getting all the camera and everything, all the glitz and glamour, their defense has been solid this year. So the Jets are up against it again. They're probably going to end up losing by 14, if not more. Last week, they lost by 40. So I don't see anything changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You're right that the defense doesn't get enough credit on the Bengals. I mean, they stat last week was they had like 16 or 17 sacks all year last year, and they're already at that number like halfway through the season this year. I don't know how their defense got turned around so quickly because they went 12-14 the year they got Joe Burrow or something like that.
Yeah. It just progression, man. Locker room. It's their confidence. They believe in themselves. They're 5-2 for a reason. They're the first in the AFC North reason. They believe themselves. That team's going places. They're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, but they definitely could win a playoff game this year. They could definitely host one too. At this point,
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
hosting a playoff game.
if the season ended today, the Bengals would be the #1 seed in the AFC. So definitely did not think that was going to be the case at the beginning of the year. All right, so we've got the Broncos Bengals teaser. Anything else we're looking at this weekend?
Dog of the weekend, the Detroit Lions are going to get their first win this year
At
against the
home against
Philadelphia
the
Eagles.
Eagles. I
The
love it.
Eagles, they're such a Jekyll and Hyde team. The 2 weeks ago on Thursday Football, that second half, they looked amazing against the Bucks, and then last week they went out to the Raiders and looked like, I mean, they got ran all over. They just got thrown all over, ran over, looked terrible. The Lions last week played really good against the Rams. They held their own. They were never really in a position to win. They kind of had a little trickery up their sleeves with the onside kicks, things like that. They look good. They look good all year, really. They're probably this year's good bad team. Not having the stat right in front of me, I know through the first 5 weeks they were 4-1 against the spread straight up, and I believe they've covered in a tease every game this year so far as well. The Lions are this year's good bad team. I think they get their first win. They're playing hard. Campbell's got those guys. I like him as a coach. He's getting a bad shake. The talent's just not there. I think the Lions get their first win, +160. Don't put your whole house on this. Don't sell a kidney and put it on there. But when you're looking for underdogs this weekend, I would definitely put that one in.
Yeah, I love that 160. Like you said, they played well against the Rams last week, and I know they covered the spread straight up last week. But yeah, I mean, this is they got to get a win at some point this year, and this might be their best shot when you're looking at the schedule. They've got Eagles at home. They have Bears at home, I believe, on Thanksgiving. That could be very winnable. And then they got Packers week 17 or maybe week 18 now, last game of the season. And if the Packers have the NFC North clinched up, they could be sitting Rodgers and stuff. So that could be winnable too. But I think right now the team and Dan Campbell understands that this could be the best look that they have at a win all year. I will definitely be sprinkling on lines, money line, but like you said, nothing to take a mortgage out and put it on there. Just something to sprinkle on and have fun watching the game.
And Jared Goff's rejuvenated. I feel like he feels like he finally has somebody that believes in him. His situation in LA, while they made a Super Bowl their first year, that was predominantly built around the defense and Gurley. Now he is the quote unquote star on offense, him and Swift and Hawk, those three up there. And I feel like he believes in each other and they believe in each other. Jared Goff, I think he's going to go bonkers this game. I really do. Not the Falcons. The Eagles defense is sus at best. And if you're looking for a prop at that game too, I don't have the numbers up, but I would take the Goff at over 1.5 touchdowns, probably be -140-ish, -130-ish. I love that. And I also love his passing yardage. I think he's going to go off this weekend. I think you're going to see Goff do that 300 3 touchdown game. They score 28 points and they get a win.
I think he needs to. I think if he doesn't play well and the Lions lose this game against the Eagles, there will be a lot of clamoring for backup David Blau, or I think even Dan Campbell might have kind of called out Jared Goff by name in the press conference last week, saying he needs to play better. So I definitely could see Goff coming out with a fire under his seat in the game this Sunday and seeing him play better than he has all year. So definitely we'll have to be watching Goff this weekend.
Perfect, perfect. So let's move on to NBA. NBA tonight. I got a parlay that I absolutely love. It's simple, it's streamlined, it's gonna hit. We have the Jazz taking on the Rockets. The Rockets are a fun team to watch this year. Jalen Green has been incredible. The guy had 8 threes 3 games ago. He's probably the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, at this point. The kid's been incredible, but the Rockets are still just so far away. They lack the depth, they lack the size. The Jazz, on the other hand, are the best team in basketball this year. The Warriors are 4-0, Jazz are 3-0. Jazz are just complete. They're humming right now. They look fantastic against the Nuggets the other night. So I'm going to take the Jazz money line here. Just keep this simple. Take the money line and parlay it with the Mavericks at home versus the Spurs. The Spurs are very well coached. The Spurs have been very competitive this year. They've been in every game. The Mavericks had one bad game, and then they really turn it around. They're significantly slow in the first half, but then they pick it up in the second half. The thing the Spurs lack is size, and I think this is Kristaps Porzingis' time to finally break out. He's had 3 subpar games so far, and I think this is the night Kristaps Porzingis comes in with that 25-point game, 8 rebound, 4 block kind of game, and really stakes his claim as being a true number 2 in the league. So that's the parlay right there. I'm just going to go keep it simple. Minus 139 is great value. We go ahead and put our $100 down there, and we win $70 to get back, or put 139 to win your 100. Either way, that's a clean, simple NBA parlay for tonight. That's going to hit. It's going to be a nice bankroll builder.
So, Cowboy, are you looking at any prop bets on Kristaps as well, or are you just gonna let this parlay ride?
I try to, I've done a few prop bets this year so far, but I usually wait 3-4 weeks into the season to kind of let things fall as they may. Averages, by that point, you can kind of see, hey, what's going on here, and averages starting to fall. I did catch a really good Cole Anthony one the other day when he went to New York. His over-under points was 14.5. He finished with 29. We hammered that over. I loved that. That was an easy play. But I kind of keep them in my back pocket till a little later in the season. They are something that you can kind of cheat with when you find the law of averages factor in. Porzingis points would probably be a good one. He's definitely played under par, and he's overdue, and the Spurs' lack of size definitely bodes well for him. They don't have anyone to match up with him size-wise and speed-wise. So if you see Kristaps Porzingis should be 17.5, 18. Not even listed out there right now.
Yeah, they don't even got him on here.
He could be a game time decision because of that eye. He did get a black eye the other day. Could be a game time decision. I haven't followed up on that yet. Either way, the Mavericks are still a way better team. I'm not afraid of that one way or the other. Let me pull up the RotoWire real quick and see if he's a game time decision. And it looks like he is. Oh, he's going to be out entirely. Okay.
Yeah, Mavericks say Kristaps Porzingis will not play, but that doesn't change your outlook on the Mavericks minus 245.
Nope. I love that anyways. I think it doesn't matter. The Mavericks play so well in the second half at home that they could be in a 10-point deficit in half, and I would still like that play. They play so well at home, and you know what? They have been shooting well, so they're due for a good shooting night in general. Just the whole team. So while Porzingis is out, they're going to play a faster game. You might want to take a peek at the over there at 220. That's not bad. The Spurs do play at a faster pace than most teams. Although everyone thinks that they're a grit and grind defensive team from Popovich, they do play a lot faster than most teams. Last year, they were number 6 in the league in pace of play. So that's something else to look at, too. That over at 220 could be just fine. And the Mavericks are overdue for a well-shooting game. So while Porzingis is ruled out now, that doesn't matter. I'm still all over him. I think they'll be fine either way.
Yeah, if anything, we're just getting better odds on the Mavericks money line with Porzingis out. So definitely like to play there. I will be tailing that tonight. Nice little 2-team NBA parlay minus 139. Maybe I'll add the over in there as well. All right, Cowboys. So we've got NBA picks. Any more NBA picks for the weekend?
You know, there's a couple matchups this weekend that I was looking at on Saturday. On Saturday, we have the Magic and the Pistons. The Magic are going to Pistons. They'll be favored by 3 points, give or take. 3.5 is what I have, Matt. I think the Pistons are winning that game by 10. The Pistons have been a competitive team this year. That'll be Saturday. The line's probably not out yet, but I'm already building my lines for them. The Pistons are going to have a 10-point win there. I will be taking the Pistons and the spread against the Magic. The Magic's average age is 23, and while they have shown flashes of potential, they're just not there yet. So Saturday, definitely look out for the Pistons. I really like them. And then the Jazz Bulls. That could be a battle of undefeated. Just watch that game, guys. If you want to see some good basketball early on, watch that game. Enjoy it. I think it's going to be a great game to watch. And the other one on Saturday that I was looking at was the Nuggets at the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, for whatever reason, have the Nuggets number. I don't understand why. Last 3 years, the Timberwolves play extremely well against the Nuggets. Nuggets are kind of in a situation where they're not playing super inspired basketball at this point. I think they're waiting for Jamal Murray to get back from injury. Look for the Timberwolves to maybe upset the Nuggets on Saturday. Those are the only other 3 things I'm looking for this weekend. But we got to wait for the lines to come out to make official picks on those.
Beautiful. Sounds good. And if you're interested in any of these picks, please visit simbabets.io. I'm going to throw that link up on the screen right now. All right, Cowboy, let's go ahead and get to, I'll let you pick. We can get to
college football. I want to save USC for last because I've been so excited about this card for a long time. So
Beautiful.
College football, there's 3 games I'm looking at. I like the Ole Miss game versus Auburn. I don't understand this line. I have my rankings are way different than that, and I don't understand why the line is why Auburn is even favored in this game, 2.5. So you can throw Ole Miss on a teaser right now and get them plus 9.5. That line might even move to 3. If you can get into plus 10, that's fantastic. Ole Miss has been amazing this year. Their offense is humming. They are going. They have looked great on the road. They did struggle a little bit against Tennessee, but I think Tennessee's a decent football team. I don't think they're as bad as the record says they are. They did lose to Alabama, but they hung with Bama for the first half. But Ole Miss getting points on the road against Auburn. Auburn's built on a house of cards. They beat Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas is as good as advertised. I think they're like the SEC bias team. They're putting a lot of stock in Auburn beating LSU at LSU. LSU has been pretty bad this year. So I love that. I absolutely love them to win on the road. You can take them in a tease to get even more protection. Oh, it is up to 3. Yeah, yep. You can take them right now on a 7-point tease and tease them with, once again, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, we did that last weekend. They destroyed USC. Now they got North Carolina at home. Why Notre Dame is not getting the respect from Vegas, I have no idea. They're one of the most popular bet on teams, but for whatever reason, they're not getting that respect. So the fact that I can get Notre Dame at home, getting points in a teaser is outrageous. I absolutely love that tease right there. That right there is going to make money every weekend. That is a lock. You can go ahead and put your stamp approval on that. That will hit this weekend.
Beautiful. I love that. 2-team teaser. You got Ole Miss getting 10 points against Auburn, who, as you said, is built on a house of cards. And then you got Notre Dame playing against North Carolina plus 3.5. What's been going on? It wasn't North Carolina's quarterback like touted as one of the highest draft picks this year, and he hasn't really played that well.
He hasn't been that great. He's been okay. Sam Howell's not been, he's I don't know. They're supposed to be. He had a great season last year. 2019, he had a great season. And this year, he's been subpar. I think it's due to lack of weapons around him. Mac Brown's doing what he can down in North Carolina. They're just not quite there yet. Their loss to Florida State really turned me off. Florida State's a bad football team. And the fact that they lost to them at home, that's all I need to know about that program. For them to even – they should be at least a – I would have them at an 8. I'm going to check. Actually, my notes are here. I have them at a 7.5-point dog against Notre Dame. And the fact that they're only 3.5 point, I don't know what's going on there, but that's a little tomfoolery to me. But I got 4 free points there, and then if we flip it with 7, we're getting 11 points on what I have the line at. North Carolina is not a good football team.
So before we get into any more picks, I want to ask about that real quick. So is that a strategy that you employ a lot? You create your own lines, and then if the Vegas lines aren't matching up with them, that's when you're, ticker goes off that, hey, I might want to bet on this game.
Sure. No, what I like to do is I like to look at the schedules without any lines, without any Vegas influence, and I set the lines myself based on numerous things. I do have a program. I do have a program on my computer that I use. I am a pen and paper guy. I have previous notes from previous seasons. I try to keep all my books on everything stored neatly, and I kind of just go over what it is. I still use the internet resources to research teams, things like that. But I come up with my own lines first. I look at the matchups, say what matchups look good, who's playing well at home, and then I say matchup A, B, and C. I make my line, then I see what Vegas has a line at. Then I try to find what the hook is. If I can't find the hook as to why the line is that way, sometimes I stay away from it because while the resources I have are the same as everybody else's, Vegas does have ample resources, so they do have the advantage on me. But when I can find the hook, I think people still believe in North Carolina. That's the hook here. People still believe in them. They think they're going to still get to 7, 8, 9 wins. I don't see it. They're just, like I said, when they lost to Florida State, they lost my respect. You lose to Florida State at Florida State, that's one thing. When you lose to them at home, you're just not a good football team. And there's nothing I can say about that. Any team can beat anybody on any given Saturday. But that one was just embarrassing. You don't lose to Florida State. They're the worst Power 5 team that is a quote-unquote big school this year by far. So that's kind of what I do is I build my lines, and then I go back and see where they are, and I say, whoa, slow down. That's different than what I have. Let's see if we can't take advantage of it. Does it always work? Not always, but I've found success with it. That's how part of the reason I've built so well on NFL and NCAA is by doing that myself and having my own lines and seeing what I have and comparing them to Vegas.
Got it. Yeah, I love the strategy. All right, one other big college football game we have this weekend. I'm up here in Detroit, Michigan. We've got college game day going to East Lansing. We've got Michigan State, Michigan, both undefeated. Let me try to find this game. Should be somewhere.
It is Michigan is 4-point favorites on the road against Michigan State. I like Michigan State personally. Michigan, for whatever reason, just can never get the job done. They always find a time to slip up. Historically, Jim Harbaugh, I think his best season was 10-2. Usually they slip up against Ohio State. I think this is the time to slip up. I think Michigan State finds a way to win this. Michigan State, back when I was in college in the early 2000s, was a great program. They kind of slipped around for a little bit. They've always been okay. But now they're back, man, and they've played great. They're finding ways to win football games, and that should be noted as something that you can't really intangible. If they find a way to win a football game, whether it was against Western Kentucky where they didn't look great, they end up winning by 17. Last weekend against Indiana, they won by 5. Indiana's not a great program. We saw them lose by 100 to Ohio State 2 weeks ago, but they find ways to win, and that's something that you really can't isn't quantifiable. You just say this team's special. They find ways to win. Whereas Michigan, on the other hand, though, that defense, oh my Lord, they might have the best defense in the nation outside of Georgia. They've been just thumping teams. They held Northwestern to 7, held Wisconsin to 17, held Rutgers to 13. And Rutgers has been a decent football team this year. But Michigan really hasn't played anybody. That's the other thing too. They haven't been really tested. I'm not going to say they're built on a house of cards, but they haven't been super tested. They went to Nebraska and won by 3, and Nebraska's not, they're an okay football team. They're a 500 football team. So I like Michigan State to win this one at home. I think that is my dog pick of the weekend. 4-point dogs. They're going to have some locker room material to put on the board, say, hey, they're coming to our house, and we're not favored. Let's go show them.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that if you don't want to bet on it, just sit on the couch and watch some good football because this will be a good game, college game day. But yeah, I do like the anytime you have a home dog when the teams are so evenly matched, there's no reason not to sprinkle a little on money line because especially in college football. I mean, I think in college football there's a bigger home field advantage than in the NFL. And so yeah, I mean, I don't have what I'm rooting for in this game, but I definitely like the sprinkle on Michigan State money line. Are you taking the spread or are you taking money line?
I'm going to take the money line. I see no point in taking the spread. If you wanted to tease them to 11 at home, that's respectable. But let's have some fun. I'm going to take the money line. I think they find a way to pull it off. They just find ways to win football games, and I'm going to stick with that. I think that this team believes. I don't know if they're going to go undefeated on the year. They've got a tough end-of-year schedule versus Ohio State and Penn State. They'll probably lose one, if not both of those. But for right now, let's keep the train rolling, man. Let's see them go 8-0 and beat Michigan. I think it's going to happen.
I love that running back that Michigan State has. What's his name? Walker.
Yeah. Oh man, he gets what is he? He averages so many carries a game too. I think he's up to like 27 carries a game. And last week he had 30 and 200 and some yards against. That was against Rutgers. What game was that? I was trying to think. 23 for 84. It was a defensive battle last game, but the game against Rutgers, that's the one I was talking about. I'm sorry. He had 29 carries for 233 yards, and he just looked incredible. So
yeah, he's like college football's Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah, I mean, he just eats through those guys. So yeah, that's it for college football for me. The other thing on college football, Georgia, Florida. Florida's quote unquote the hot pick as the upset to beat Georgia finally. No, next. Florida's lost 2 or 3. Next, move on. Georgia's going to go down there and smack them. 14-point favorites. The world's largest cocktail party, whatever. Or no, it's down to it's 14.5. So money's running towards Georgia. People said, "Oh, the cocktail party in Jacksonville, Florida's gonna find a way to upset them." No, Georgia's gonna win. They're gonna win convincingly. They're not gonna lose until they play Bama. Yeah, I said it. They'll lose to Bama in the championship game.
Yeah, Florida hasn't had a great football team in a few years now. So we'll see. I mean, like you said with Florida State too. So we'll see if some of those quote unquote blue bloods, I don't know if you can call them blue bloods in college football, but if they come back, with better teams next year, the year after, because Florida has just been disappointing the past few years.
Yeah, they're not it anymore. It happens, you go in ways. The hardest thing to do is stay relevant in college football, man. I mean, you've got these teams like Alabama and Oklahoma and Ohio State. The fact that they've been on top for 10, 15 years is just shows you, the pedigree of those programs. Look at Clemson this year. Even Clemson, who they've had the best recruiting class for the last 6, 7 years, they're down. I mean, Clemson's terrible this year. They've had a lot of injuries, so that's needless to say that it's not necessarily all their fault, but it just shows you how hard it is to stay up top, year in and year out.
LSU too. I mean, LSU goes from winning the national championship 2 years ago to becoming like the laughing stock of the SEC, or at least not really the laughing stock of the SEC, but one of them. You got to throw Mizzou in there too. But yeah, I mean, Florida State, Florida, we'll see if they get their swagger back. Oklahoma, they've been in the college playoffs, 4 out of the last 5 years, but they haven't had a chance to get it done.
Oklahoma is offense. Lincoln Riley's got those guys scoring 60 points a game, 55 points a game, and that style of football doesn't necessarily transfer over to playing against SEC or Big Ten schools. They probably won't ever get it done. The Big 12's talent pool is drying up, and now they're going to be going to the SEC in 3 years. Oklahoma's best shot of winning a national championship was finding that 1 in 15 game in the championship game when they play Alabama or whatnot. But yeah, they stay relevant. They stay great. They win 10 games every year. They go 10-2, 11-1, 12-0, whatever. They float in that area. A lot of that's the lack of competition. The Big 12 competition is lacking. It's very top heavy.
Yep, agreed. All right, Cowboy, let's move on from college football. We got some good picks there between Ole Miss, Michigan State, and remind me the third one again.
Ole Miss, Michigan State. And our final play was you're drawing a blank now too, man. You just drew me a blank there. Oh, Notre Dame at home, of course.
Notre Dame at home. Yeah,
Notre Dame versus North Carolina. Yes.
We had the Notre Dame Ole Miss teaser, and then we've got some on Michigan money line. Love those picks. Should be a fun weekend in college football. We got some good games. But yeah, let's move on to UFC. You mentioned that you've been looking forward to this slate for a while.
This has been my favorite card since my favorite play in UFC. I gave it to you guys last week. I'm going to reiterate here in a second. Since June 16th, when I had Spivak over Arlovsky. So this has been my favorite play in UFC. UFC 267. It is early, guys, on Saturday. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. They're fighting in Abu Dhabi. So the main event will be on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Or sorry, main card, not the main event. Main card starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It is an early event, but the play that I've been absolutely hammering and I keep leveraging into it, DCAing it, whatever, is the Petr Yan money line parlayed with the Jan Wakovic money line. Both those guys are going to bring their titles back. We can get that. I mean, the line's already moved significantly on Wakovic. He's at minus 300 now, and that was minus 220, I think, when we announced it last week. It should be pretty close to even money. And then Petr Yan right there, and then Jan Wakovic. Yeah, minus 110. It's still sitting right there. I absolutely love this. We'll start with the main event. Jan Wakovic versus Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is 42 years old. He is, if not the best coach in UFC, he is going to be the best coach at MMA here anytime soon. He's got Teixeira MMA up there in Connecticut, and he is putting on one heck of a run in the late stages of his career. And I have nothing but respect for that guy. He is a legend. But he's not going to get a title. He's going to finish his career without that gold. He lost to John Jones in his last matchup, which was 7 years ago. Yeah, 2014, he lost to John Jones. He's coming off 6-win winning streak over Carl Robertson, Ian Kutlaba, Nikola Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Thiago Santos. That is a killer winning streak. That is just, I mean, to beat those 6 guys in a row and 4 of them inside the distance, that is incredible. This guy deserves nothing but hats off. But he's going against the Polish Hammer and Jan Blachowicz and Jan Blachowicz. I need my buddy Eric on the air to tell me he's Polish. He knows how to say those Polish names. But the guy's just been incredible. The guy's second half of the career himself has just been absolutely fantastic. He lost to Thiago Santos, which was a common opponent for both those guys. He lost to him by knockout on February 22nd, 2019. Since then, he has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row himself. He's even beat Dominic Reyes for the belt, and he even beat Israel Adesanya. Now, Adesanya stepped up to the 205, which people say, well, you know, Adesanya's been fighting at 185. Adesanya still took the fight. He still was there, and Adesanya got no offense in, no offense. So I think Jan Blachowicz wins this thing going away. He should win it by unanimous decision. It'll be probably 48-46. My opinion, 49-46 would be my opinion on what this fight's going to be. I think he wins it by decision, and I see no problems there. He's going to dominate him. Santos is going to try to take him to the ground, or Glover Teixeira is going to try to take him to the ground, and Walkovich's ground defense will be fine. So I think that one right there is a beautiful play. Moving on to Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen is my favorite fighter in the UFC, and I can't believe I'm betting against the guy. I absolutely love the guy. He's young. He's 28 years old. He's energetic. He's got a lot of high striking volume, but he's just not quite ready to fight at Peter Yan's level. Peter Yan is coming off a disqualification loss against Auburn Sterling where he kneed him in the head on the ground, and then Auburn Sterling proceeded to not be able to continue the fight, and he's coming for blood. He lost his title there. He's coming for blood to get his title. Minus 220. You can take this straight if you want as well. Minus 220. This should be minus 400. I love Corey Sandhagen. He's just not ready to compete at this level yet.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I love that anytime that you're willing to bet against your favorite fighter, that shows some conviction in that play there. So we're just taking Peter Yan straight up, no inside the distance, no, by knockout.
I like him straight up. He probably will try to win this inside the distance. The way I see this fight going is I see the first couple rounds staying on the feet. Sandhagen might even win the first round. Peter Yan is a great mid-fight adjuster. He makes adjustments. By halfway through the second round into the third, Peter Yan will have him on the ground. Much like the Jose Aldo fight where he did end up KOing Jose Aldo in the 5th round, I see this being very similar. If Peter Yan gets a finish, it will be late into the rounds. So safe enough on the money line, parlay it with Jan Blachowicz. If you want inside the distance, Peter Yan's fine. If you want to take a flyer as a hedge, you can take Sandhagen by KO. That's the only way I see him winning this fight. He's not going to be able to outpoint Peter Yan. Peter Yan just has too much control time. Sandhagen is not really good. His takedown defense is fine, but he doesn't really take down his opponents that much. So I see Peter Yan outpointing him. I think these both go to decision, Blachowicz and Yan. So you can take Peter Yan by decision too if you want. What is that? Plus 155? That's fine. That's good odds. But money line at minus 220 is fine. You're getting value there. It should be minus 400. So that's the one I like. I like parlaying those two together on a money line. And that's going to be a max bet for me. That's the highest bestow of confidence I can give in a UFC pick is those two winning, those two maintaining, keeping their championships.
Beautiful. So yeah, going back here, let me go back to the parlay we had. So it was Jan Blachowicz. Sorry, I'm gonna mess up their names now. Blachowicz.
It's Walkovic, even though I always say Blachowicz as well, but it is Walkovic. The BL is pronounced as a W apparently.
Hey, the more you know. All right, so that parlay is minus 110, basically even money with two heavy favorites there, and those are the last two fights of the card. So should be an exciting Saturday afternoon because, as you said, they're fighting in Fight Island. All right, so yeah, we've got some great picks. Just to recap, we had in NFL Packers in the under teased for minus 140. We have Lions dog of the weekend plus 160. Moving over to NBA tonight, we had Mavericks teased with the Mavericks parlay with the. Sorry, I didn't write this one down.
Jazz Mavericks parlay. Texas
Jazz.
two-step. They're both playing in Texas. Jazz at the Rockets. I love that, and then I love the Mavericks at home versus the Spurs.
Beautiful. And then, yeah, moving on to college football, we had the Ole Miss Notre Dame teaser. Or no, sorry, was that a parlay? No, that was a teaser.
Teaser. And then
Teaser,
you can take Notre Dame. You could probably take them both straight up. To be honest, I wouldn't hate taking them in a tease without in a parlay without the points. I mean, I think they're both going to cover their lines anyways. I have them. Like I said, I have Notre Dame by a 4-point advantage over Vegas, and I have Ole Miss favored in that game myself by 2.5 actually. So you could take them both straight up.
Yep, and then we've got Michigan State. Sprinkle a little on the money line. I like that pick as well. And we will get all these picks in the description. So while you're watching along, if you forget something, just check the description. We'll have all those picks there. And yeah, I mean, Cowboy, we should be in for a great sports weekend as well as a good Thursday night. Between the basketball games tonight, Thursday night football, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I think it's great. And one more thing on UFC, I want to mention Dan Hangman Hooker is fighting Islam Makhachev. He's a plus 450 underdog. I'm not saying he's going to win, but at plus 450, Dan Hooker should never be plus 450 against it's plus 390 now. He should never be plus 390 even against anyone in the UFC roster today. Islam Makhachev is young. He's a Dagestani, so he's fighting close to home. He's one of the new he's one of the Khabib hybrids that they're talking and building up. I still think Dan Hooker, after watching the fights that guy's been in his career, watching him versus Dustin Poirier last year go to unanimous decision, 48-47. It was a coin toss fight. I still think Dan Hooker has a chance to win that match, and I am going to be putting my money on Dan Hooker. I'm not expecting it to win. It's probably I probably have it about a 40% chance he can pull it off. Definitely should not be weighted like that is right there. That is ridiculous odds right there. Islam Makhachev is a hot young prospect. He has not fought anybody to Dan Hooker's level yet.
Yeah, I mean, and as you said, with the line was once at 450, now it's 390. That's showing you a lot of money is going on Hooker. So, yeah, we have some good fights to watch this weekend. I mean, it's been a while. I haven't tuned into UFC in a few months, but this card I'm watching for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on. Remember Simba Bets, Simba_bets at Instagram. You guys can come give us a like at least, or follow, whatever Instagram is. I don't know. I'm too old for that stuff.
Sounds good. All right, Cowboy. Well, thank you for hopping on with us again. This is Sports Talk with Simba Bets and Benzinga. Please smash the like if you have not already. All the picks will be in the description. And let us know too in the comments what picks and games y'all are looking at this weekend. With that, everyone have a great weekend and good luck on your sports bets.